Moonlight Blade Mobile recently came to open beta for Android, iOS, and for PC as well. Interestingly, the mobile version was not a full global release, and certain countries weren't able to play from the mobile client. However, if you have a PC and downloaded the PC client, you were able to play it that way, which is what I ended up doing. What is up, my dwellers of the interwebs? I'm Sorensen, and this is my first impression on the open beta of the upcoming game Moonlight Blade Mobile. The character creator was surprisingly deep. At first I thought it was just a preset only type of customization experience, but after you went to the next few steps, you were able to really dive deep into the facial customization of your character. Each part of your character's face had sliders to make for a fully unique character. I absolutely love games that have deep customization options. I'm all for a unique character experience. There are 6 classes for you to choose from. Each of these classes, except for the healer class, has a choice of male, female, or young girl option. The healer only has the female and girl option available, which I think is kind of bad. Why is it that only the healer is stuck with female only? It almost feels like that old stereotype that only girls play healers. Seems kind of silly if you ask me. All the other classes don't have any restrictions, and yet the healer does. It's very weird. Moonlight Blade Mobile does seem story-rich. There's tons of cutscenes and story content for you to immerse yourself in. I think all the story content is voice-acted. At least it felt that way for me. Unfortunately, the story didn't really grab my attention, so I wasn't able to fully pay attention to what was happening. I also feel like the story isn't really important, considering if you out-level the story content, you can actually opt to skip the story content entirely in order to catch up to the content you are meant to be at. Of course, you can read a condensed version of everything that has transpired, but I feel like the story isn't the main focus in this game, even though there is so much voice dialogue and gorgeous cutscenes for you to see. In terms of the gameplay, the game has auto-pathing, which is available right away, and then auto-combat is unlocked at level 20+. I was surprised at first because I thought this game had no autoplay, but then I remembered that some games will hold off on the autoplay until much further into the game, as if to try to trick you into thinking that the game is a normal game, that you are meant to actually play. But then they surprise you with the autoplay later down the line, and that's what this game decided to do. Of course, you can turn off auto combat and just use it for the grinding, which is what I'm sure it's mainly there for. You can also unlock mounts in the game and also experience many beautiful cutscenes. The game is also level gated. You will experience many moments where the game will tell you that you need to reach a certain level requirement in order to progress to the next main campaign. World quests were a good way to get experience, and also farming the enemies around those areas too. This is when the auto combat really shines. You can just leave the game farming mobs for half an hour, come back and have leveled up a bunch. Though I found that when you do this, and if you have severely overleveled, you will actually be given the option to skip the main quest chapters and progress to the next ones. And if you're overleveled on those chapters too, then you can skip those too. I had farmed up to level 50+ and skipped through 3 chapters of the game's story. I think that the option to skip chapters is great if you're in a hurry, but I don't know if I really like it overall, since you miss out on a lot of the game's story content and locations. But if story isn't that big of a deal for you, then this will be not an issue at all. In terms of the combat, the game has 6 action buttons to press for your attacks, and then there's also a block and an ultimate skill as well. You can also dodge in the game, so you can avoid the big telegraph skills from enemies as well. As I mentioned before, there's also auto combat unlocked after level 20, so keep that in mind. The combat is fast-paced, and if you're a fan of Wuxia style combat, then this will be something you might enjoy a lot. It's all very flashy and pretty to experience too. audio in the game was decent. I didn't notice any poor voiceovers or music while playing the game, and the voice acting seemed pretty good too. The voiceovers are also in Chinese, which makes sense considering the type of game that this is. The visuals of this game is where it truly shines. I couldn't get over how gorgeous this game was. From the character designs to all the world locations, even the change in weather had extra details added to it. I remember looking at my character when it was raining in the game and the water was actually running down my character's face and body. I was very impressed with that. Also, your chest armor will change its look when you upgrade as well, so that's a nice touch too. Overall, I'd say that Moonlight Blade Mobile is a super fun Wuxia MMORPG that will probably be a big hit for the mobile audience. I feel like the PC audience may have a harder time warming up with this game due to the mobile-centric user interface and the auto-pathing and auto-combat. While of course you don't have to use the auto features, the sheer amount of grinding will make you want to turn it on. I also had a bit of difficulty finding the website since it wasn't the top link when searching on Google. It's actually 5 links down before you find the official website for downloading the PC client. So keep that in mind if you do decide to download the PC version. You will have to scroll down a bit unless that changes on the official release. While the game is grindy, I did enjoy my time in the game. I'm thinking of this as more of a mobile game to be enjoyed on mobile over PC. So from that perspective, I'd probably give this game an 8 out of 10 overall score. I would recommend playing it on mobile if your device can run it, since it's definitely meant to be played on there. So there you have it. That's my first impression on the open beta of the upcoming game Moonlight Blade Mobile. Thank you for watching. I'm Sorensen. Have a fantastic day. Please drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed my content, and hit that bell icon to stay up to date on all my upcoming videos. And if you're watching this on taptap.io or on the TapTap app, I hope you'll consider following my profile as well. Bye bye!